You are listening to the MDRS podcast, The All-Inclusive, where we bring you the latest news and information about our services for Mississippians with disabilities. On today's podcast, we are talking about Project Search, a nationwide program that is bringing employment opportunities to students with disabilities in Mississippi. Here to tell us about Project Search is Executive Director Chris Howard.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us on our latest podcast. This podcast is about our program called Project Search. Project Search is an international organization. There are actually Project Search sites all over the world, and it started in Cincinnati, Ohio at Children's Hospital in 1996. And I'll tell you, the reason the Mississippi Department of Rehab Services loves this program so much is because it works with individuals, young adults in their last year of school with intellectual disabilities. And we're partnering them with an employer, and they're gaining this awesome, valuable work experience to prepare them for the future. So, when you look across Mississippi, our role is to coordinate the schools and the employers to create these great opportunities for these young adults. So we have 13 sites right now. We are currently building on that. I've got Faye Culpepper with me today. She's our state coordinator, and she's going to tell you more about it. But to really hear her passion and to hear her talk about this great program and the fact that it truly, truly changes lives. I mean, guys, these are individuals, like I said, in their last year of school with intellectual disabilities. And later on in the podcast, you're going to hear from a student, you're going to hear from a parent, and you're going to hear from some employers. But just to see the collaboration that goes on that really is going to change the lives of so many students. And it has changed the lives of so many students. And again, we're so proud of this program. And so today I'm excited to have Ms. Faye Culpepper. She is our state coordinator over Project Search Mississippi. So she is with me today in the studios. Good morning, Faye.
Good morning.
I tell you, I've got a few questions for you that I think our listeners really would like to hear. And really the first thing is, I mentioned earlier that Project Search was founded in 1996 at Children's Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's an international thing. I guess give a little more detail as to, why it started in Cincinnati and how it's grown internationally and us bringing it to Mississippi.
Okay. Erin Riley, the director of nursing at Cincinnati Children's Hospital, realized that they were serving people with disabilities, but they were not employing people with disabilities. So she was trying to, think of a program or some type of training that they could put together to provide that service in the hospital. So she met with the SPED department of Cincinnati, and they put together Project Search. We're in 48 states. We're in 10 different countries, and we have over 600 programs. And every year it's growing. I think the states are now competing against each other, and Mississippi's right there, growing these programs across the state.
Yeah, so that's cool stuff. You think about that 600 kids who are going to have a brighter future because of this program, and to bring it to Mississippi back in 2018, of course, was our first site. And I guess briefly talk about that first site and who we partner with and how it kind of took off from there.
Okay. In 2017, we started talking with the University of Mississippi Medical Center and also Rankin County School District. And so 2018 was our first site at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. We had 9 interns that participated. 7 ended up getting employed. Some went part-time, some went full-time. Some chose to not keep their benefits to get full-time retirement with University of Mississippi Medical Center. And so that was 2018, and then 2019, 2020, we brought on 4 more sites across the state. And then 2020, 21, we brought on 2 more, but that was during the pandemic. We had others interested and wanted to move forward, but then that happened, and so they said, let's kind of hold off, but we're definitely want to do it. And so then in 2021, 22, we added 6. Mm-hmm. So now we're at 13, and then next year we're looking at 5, possibly more.
Cool deal. So you're talking about how we're growing the program. I know with my experience with Project Search, it's mainly in a hospital setting. We partner a lot with hospitals, but, you and your team have done a great job expanding that. So I guess tell our listeners about the new area you brought us into last year, and then what we've got planned for this coming year.
Okay, so when you approach a business about being a host site, you want to look at, how many employees they have, at least 100 to 200. And what you're looking for really is internship site opportunity. So, we can have up to 12 interns to go through the program, and so we want 12. We don't want interns in the same department. So if we're going to have 12 interns, we want 12 different opportunities. So healthcare is big, hospitality suites are big, and manufacturing. And so we approached Viking Illuvian in 2020, and they were all excited, and then the pandemic hit. So they were the one of the ones that said, let's just hold up because we've got to get things set here. But again, we kicked off this year with them, and it is amazing. It's an amazing opportunity for our young adults in that area.
Cool deal. Okay, so tell us about what's coming up next year. You mentioned there's some new stuff coming up next year, so why don't you tell our listeners what exciting things we've got coming up in this next school year?
Yes, there is. With the pandemic, our hospitals now are mandated the vaccination, which, some families said yes, some families said no. And so I was just thinking, what other areas what could we tap into? So I was on the national website looking at other states, what other programs they have, and I saw Air Force bases. So I clicked on Arizona, Luke Air Force Base, kind of did some research, reached out to Biloxi High School because they were talking about wanting to site, and they actually had somebody on their board from Keesler. So next year, we're going to have a site at Keesler Air Force Base and also Columbus Air Force Base. So we are so excited. I think they're more excited than we are.
I tell you, that is really cool stuff because, we are giving young adults, the opportunity to really look at the future and decide what they want to do. Do they want to, Project Search is hospitality, it's hospital settings. You mentioned manufacturing, and now we're looking at Air Force bases. So how cool is that for these young adults to gain that valuable work experience and really work at somewhere pretty cool?
Yeah.
So
yes.
Cool stuff. We got a lot of stuff going on. Faye's going to stay with me on this podcast for the remainder, but we're going to flip it to break. So y'all enjoy this break coming up and stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
We will be right back with more about Project Search. Stay with us. At the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services, our employees are dedicated to making a difference in the lives of Mississippians with disabilities. Thousands have been helped by our services. If you are looking for a new career or you want to learn more about our services that could help you live more independently, we are here to help. Please visit our website at mdrs.ms.gov. And now we rejoin our MDRS podcast, The All-Inclusive, as we continue our discussion about Project Search.
And we are back. Thank y'all for rejoining us as we are talking about Project Search here in Mississippi. Next up, we have got a story about a young adult. His name is John Edwards. He was one of our first students to graduate from Project Search. He had an internship at the University Med Center, and he has now transitioned to having a full-time job where he works 40 hours a week. So again, that's what this program is all about, training these young adults to prepare for the future and transition to these great full-time jobs. So John is going to tell you a little bit about his story, his experience, and then we also have his supervisor who's going to talk about how John excelled in the program and again, how we're truly changing lives through this great program.
Project Search is a really fun learning experience. When you join the Project Search, you really don't know what you're getting into. But when you finish all that, you can either choose to get a job. Project Search is the best thing that's ever happened to me, and it helped me get a job.
He's so kind. He's kind-hearted. He goes out of his way to make sure everything is covered the way it's supposed to be. He takes care of the patients. He's truly an amazing individual. They both are. To be quite honest, my Project Search people are the most committed and hardworking people I have. If it was my choice, we would have more. They're flat out. They want to be here. They they truly make the process of working here amazing. That was one of the big factors that have kept me where I'm at, is the ability to be hands-on with the Project Search team.
What a great example of how Project Search truly changes lives. I mean, you heard John's story, and I tell you, this program not only teaches young adults valuable work skills, but it also provides confidence. You know, it allows them to really spread their wings and fly, so to speak. I mean, it's a great program. I guess, Faye, let's tell our listeners a little bit. I mean, again, this was a great story, and I know you've got a ton of great stories, ton of success stories about how this program changes lives. So you want to briefly talk about maybe a couple of them?
Sure. We had a young lady that went through Project Search at Mississippi Baptist Medical Center in Jackson, and she actually in her first rotation hid from the job skills trainer, just real nervous, not knowing, what she's going to be required to do. And so she was actually in sterile processing. And so one of the employees, which we call him a mentor, because we do identify a mentor in that department that will work along with that intern to make sure that they are doing what they're needing to do. And also, it's like building Legos. You constantly building skills. As they learn skills, you want them to work on new skills. And so when the pandemic hit, they were interested in hiring her. And I mean, she just, self-confidence was amazing. She started just really wanting to go to work and be there and working hard. And to this day, she is in sterile processing. She is their lead trainer. And she is now working so hard. She trains our interns that come through the program there too. There are doctors that want her kit when they are ready to have surgery. They request her kits, and so that says a lot for her. But again, it goes back to the program, and I think, Chris, that when the interns come in, they have no idea. They go through a little interview and assessment, but they still don't know what they're getting into.
Right.
And so the first 3 weeks is team building, learning how to navigate around the host business. They're also learning how to accept criticism. And so then they go through a voc fit, which is like an assessment to identify their strengths. Mm-hmm. And so what areas in the hospital can they really succeed in? And so what the instructor does is they put them in an internship site that they know they're going to succeed. So that builds confidence. And then they want more and more. And so she's now still working at Baptist. She's in sterile processing. We also have a young man at our smallest hospital that is now he was hired on as a rehab tech. And one of his rotations was in the physical therapy outpatient. And so they did not have a rehab tech. So when they put his job description together, they used him as a rehab tech, cleaning all the equipment, making sure it was ready, making sure the towels were washed, dried, and folded, going out to get the patients, taking them out when they got through. So that cut down on a lot of extra stuff that the physical therapist had to do in order to see the patient.
Yeah, I mean, that is so cool. I mean, because again, it's changing lives. Mm-hmm. Y'all are actually working with these young adults and changing lives. And one of the stories I always remember that I think is pretty cool is, one instructor at one of the sites, they had the young adults watching headline news.
Oh, yeah.
And the question came up, why are you, having them watch headline news? And she said, it's elevator talk.
That's right.
We not only want to teach these young adults a job skill, but we want to teach them how to communicate with coworkers, with their supervisors, with the public. Mm-hmm. And that's how they were doing it. They were watching headline news, so they knew what to talk about when they were in the elevator with other people. So again, this program is not only building them as employees, but they're building them as people in society.
Correct.
So it's just, I get chill bumps just talking about it. I mean, I love this program and the work it does to really help individuals be successful in life and in the business world. Mm-hmm. So next up, we have got a story from a parent. A parent's going to tell you exactly how it changes their lives. Because again, when we touch the life of a young adult, we touch the life of a family. And, as Faye and I go out and we talk, parents all the time say, thank you for this program. Honestly, I didn't know what my child was going to do when they left high school. Or, my child would come home and sit there and watch TV until we got home from work. But through Project Search, these young adults are gaining work experience and landing really cool jobs. I mean, Faye's got a list right here of all the jobs these young adults have have obtained after they left the Project Search internship. So, I mean, it truly does change lives. So, y'all join me and let's listen to the words from this parent or these parents as they talk about how Project Search affects them and the whole family unit.
What is going to happen to my child when I'm no longer there to help them. And this has given my husband and me just a sense of peace that she has found a place. She's successful in the place that she's found. And she's going to be a productive adult. And that's all we wanted.
It has opened many doors of opportunities for my family. Because actually, we had no idea what we were going to do before Project Search started. It's given us a lot of opportunities. It's also given us more ammunition to get Justin excited about doing something each and every day with his achievements and goals in life.
So as you just heard from the parents, I mean, you truly hear how important this program is, not only to the young adults, but to the parents as well. Just again, parents' concern that we hear as we travel the state is, what's going to happen to my child when they graduate high school, or, what are they going to do for the rest of their lives? And through this partnership, through the partnerships we have with the schools and the employers, we're making dreams come true, so to speak. I mean, these young adults have a brighter future. Parents have a little bit or a lot more knowing that their child is going to be taken care of. Something else we hear a lot is, what's going to happen to my child when I pass on?
Yeah.
I mean, to think about that, to think about, what's going to happen to my young adult when I'm not here anymore.
Right.
And to have Project Search, to have a program where these young adults can flourish and make money and, support themselves and gain the valuable social skills and employment skills,
Right.
Again, is truly changing lives every day.
Yeah, and I think one thing, Chris, too, is, when they graduate from Project Search, they're just not done. Like, that's why, MDRS is such a big partner in this, is because we provide that support afterwards. And then we make sure that once we get ready to close the case successfully, we have other resources in line to also assist and help the family and that young adult. Because, we do spend a lot of time talking with school districts, buying them in. We spend a lot of time with the businesses, but we also spend a lot of time with the parents. I mean, that's your child, and to think about a future and think about, oh my goodness, you're going to put them in a hospital, or you're going to put them in this manufacturer, you're going to put them in, this Air Force base, and you're just going to let them loose. That's not. So we really have to make sure that the family is comfortable, they trust us. And so, yeah, we do a lot of parent talking. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And just to reiterate to the parents who may be listening, we do have instructors out there every day who are working with the young adults. We have buy-in from the employers. We have buy-in from the schools. So it's really one big collaboration that is really going to guide each young adult every single day through this program. So,
Absolutely.
You brought up a good point. If a parent's out there and they're concerned about, I'm nervous about my son or daughter going to this big open manufacturing building. It's not like that at all. They're going to be supervised every hour of the day. They're going to get the guidance. They're going to learn those tools, and they're going to be taken care of. And we're going to treat them just like they're our own kids. So,
That's right.
I promise you, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that they're truly successful. Mm-hmm. So, again, we're talking about the parents. I guess let's transition over to the employers, because as great as this program is, as great as, what we hear from parents and the success stories from young adults, it really ties down to, can we find an employer who's willing to provide these opportunities, provide these internships, and truly have buy-in? So we're going to hear from a couple of employers, but before we do that, do you want to quickly just kind of talk about the importance of having employers that truly buy into Project Search?
Sure. Yeah. We have a video of our Project Search current programs, And so when we approach a business, the first thing we usually do is email the video, introduce myself, and ask for just some time to talk. I think the biggest thing is, what is their commitment, and so we tell them, you're our training site. You will be our training site where these interns will learn those marketable skills. You're not obligated to hire any. We definitely want you to get some really good employees out of this, but you're our training site. And so, if you're not able to be a host business or don't think you can do it, then you can always know about the program to hire a Project Search graduate. That's why, we have our business advisory committee meetings. We bring in businesses so they know what these hospitals or these manufacturers or these Air Force bases are providing, so we can know what skills that we can work on during Project Search so that person could go work for that business. So, but literally when we show them the video, they're sold. It's like, how quick can we get this program in this business? And so the benefits of business, access to new diverse talent stream with skills that match labor needs, increased performance and retention in high turnover entry level positions, also increase regional and national recognition through marketing of this unique program.
Yeah, so not only are we meeting the needs of the school and the kids, but we're also meeting the needs of the business. And that's why this program is so important. So
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to hear from several business leaders from around the state as they talk about how Project Search students have impacted their organizations and made such a positive change in their work, I guess. I mean, in the business
absolutely.
itself. So y'all stick with us, and we're fixing to hear from a couple business leaders.
I think it means a lot for Baptists to be involved with this. It's an opportunity for us, as part of our threefold mission of teaching, healing, and ministry, to have these students in here, because these students and interns have changed the dynamic here in the hospital in every department that they've been in.
We have productive citizens that can work and pay taxes and vote. And I think that's important, that that's where they're going. They're going to be productive citizens.
But it's instilling a sense of pride in our organization that we're participating on a large scale, doing something with the community, that we're giving back. So the individuals and the departments that work with them, you'll see the pride. They take ownership. They take kind of almost a parental role and say, we want to help them out. But then just that sense of community that we're giving back is a tremendous feeling.
So, I mean, how cool is that? Not only have we heard from a student, a parent, well, two parents actually, but we're also hearing from businesses too, that they truly see the value in what Project Search can and does do. So I guess let's talk a minute about COVID. We're hopefully near the end of this pandemic, but in the height of COVID, we were actually running some Project Search sites.
Correct.
And I guess talk about what we did in Mississippi and compared to what other states across the country did and how we kept it successful.
Well, the instructors and the job skills trainers who work along with the instructor, they had virtual time, every day, because, one day the interns are at the hospital or the host business, and then they're not. And so it's very devastating for those interns because it shook up their life a little bit, like it did all of ours. But the good thing about it is they kept in contact. They kept doing their curriculum, work-based learning stuff that they do every day, and we got back in the hospitals as soon as possible. And I think that the host business, our programs are solid, Chris, and they're ran amazingly. These instructors and job skills trainers, they got it. And we always said, don't be a thorn in the hospital's back right now. We're at their beck and call, and they really they lost staff. And so they really looked at our interns as, I need an intern, like I need some help. And so it was a good thing. When we started out the next year, the hospitals were saying, yeah, we've got some restrictions, but we want you here. And we made it very clear to the schools and the new sites coming on board that, if for some reason we have another pandemic and the schools go virtual, Project Search does not go virtual. They want us in there. So that says a lot for our young adults, our
Yes.
interns.
So, I mean, you can truly see how Mississippi, values this Project Search program,
Absolutely.
whether it be through our agency, through the school districts, and through the employers. Because I know when you and I talked, through the pandemic, there were programs all across the country in other states who were actually shutting down, sending kids home.
And they're still shut down.
Yeah. Well, true. Very true. But because we saw the value in it, and because we saw the importance in it and the dedication and the true love for this program, that, we kept it going. We kept it going. And because of that, these young adults that continued through the pandemic now have this awesome future they're prepared for.
That's right.
So again, Mississippi, we're last in a lot of things, but as you look at Project Search, I think we rank right up there in the top in our passion and keeping it going and really making this program what it is today. And you mentioned earlier about the team approach. You talked about the job skills trainers, the instructors, and we also want to talk about the counselors. The counselors at vocational rehab and vocational rehab for the blind. So it's a team effort, and it's everyone working together, walking alongside with that young adult to prepare them for that great future. So.
You can see the excitement in the counselors' eyes when they come in. They see success, and they see these young adults changing. And not only MDRS sees it, but the host business, often tells me, they have gained as much or more than the interns they have, got that has gone through the Project Search program. It's not only changed the intern's life, it's changed all of ours, from the counselor to the job skills trainers. We have retired school personnel that will tell you, this is the best job I've ever had. Because you do see success, you see success, and you see lives changing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the cool thing. I mean, truly changing lives. So, hopefully y'all have enjoyed this program today. It was on Project Search. And I tell you, Mississippi is totally committed to this great program, and through Faye's passion for this program and through her staff, they are really working hard to expand these programs. Because, again, we would love to continue to build sites all across the state because, again, we're seeing the lives that are changed. So, if you're a school district out there and you're interested in partnering with us, if you're an employer who's interested in partnering with us, or if you're a parent who's listening and saying, I have a young adult with a disability and I want him to have a bright future and get ready for that job market, whatever the case may be, give us a call, 1-800-443-1000. Ask for Faye. Faye is our expert when it comes to Project Search, or you can visit us at mdrs.ms.gov. One last thing, if you go to our YouTube channel, type in Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services, you can really see a lot of videos. We talked about Project Search, but there are so many great programs at this agency that truly assist Mississippians with disabilities and truly changes lives every day. So, guys, thank y'all for listening today. Thank you for being a part of our podcast. Please call us at 1-800-443-1000 or visit us at mdrs.ms.gov. God bless y'all, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to The All Inclusive, the MDRS podcast bringing you the latest news and information about our services for Mississippians with disabilities. Be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, and YouTube to catch the latest podcast. Thanks for joining us.